Let's see. Are we live? Okay, here we go. Well, welcome to the return of SaturDaves. Kind of came up last minute, so I don't even know if hopefully we'll get some people that filter in here. But and also mind the lighting. I don't know what Lucian did with our big light, so I'm kind of struggling here with the lighting. He tends to hide things on me, so I have to stick a lamp over here. Let me see. I'm gonna pull this up on my phone. Bear with me. That's the wrong account. Go here. Okay. Here we go. Now let's turn that down. Oh, anywho, glass is getting foggy. So, well, I'm just gonna get started. I wanted to do a little blurb, and oh, hey, October is our first entry. So I wanted to. I'm gonna take these off. They keep fogging. It's very hot in here. Air conditioning is on the fritz. Yeah, it's been a roller coaster for us, as you know. And here comes the kitty. Just getting the house ready and getting ready for the new house and having a kitty. Oh, everybody wants a kitty. Look at that kitty. But I wanted to go live today because, well, it's June. It's early June. And I haven't done a SaturDaves in a while. And June's a pretty big month, I think, for me, because that is Thor. Because for me, it's always marked the beginning of summer. I know the official beginning of summer. I don't know what the official day is, but June has always meant summer is here. And I just wanted to talk about, some summer things that, that us witches and wizards can kind of do, One thing is nature. Nature is really, I think, a real important aspect for witches and wizards. What are you doing there? When summer hits and the weather gets nice, I tend to want to just get out of the house. And now, more than ever, since things are starting to open up and the weather's getting nice, it's time to get out of the house and see nature. And the thing is, nature hikes and stuff like that are things that you can still do safely during COVID. And we did a lot of that last year too. But anyways, let me get my iPad open and we'll talk about a few nature-y things. Actually, before we do that, hold on. I gotta move your Thor because I forgot to get my stick. Hold on. Hey, buddy. Oops, dropped you on your head. No. Come on, stick. Here I come with my pink shorts. One thing I'm working on is a wand. I want to make a wand. So this is a great example of things you can do in the spring and the summer. It's like a little project you can do. You're walking, when I go hiking and stuff like that, and I love to go hiking, I'm always keeping my eye out for different things that that I can basically pick up off the ground and use. And sticks and big sticks are one of them. And like this one, I've removed the bark, kind of started the sanding process. I haven't gotten far, but I've whittled it a bit. I'm going to trim it probably right there because it's a little long, and plus it's got this little blemish. And I'm going to finish sanding it, maybe put some designs in it, do some things, and make them on. But it's different things like that you can kind of do in the summer, as to enhance, your magical practice. As a wizard, one of the things that I believe is that it is better, not so much better, I use the right word. I prefer to make my tools as opposed to just going to the store and buying something, if that makes sense. And it's tough in low-tech mode, until we get, moved into the new house and set up and I have all my tools. But I want to get back into, I'm going to start tumbling my own rocks and just kind of doing that. I think when you put your personal energy into things, it enhances the magical, if you would, properties of said things. So that's kind of some of the things that that have been on my mind as of late. Hold on, in the wrong page of this book. Because we go to the beginning. Wow. Come on, Kindle. There's got to be a better way. Table of contents. Because I had a couple of things in here. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Let me go to the table of contents. Wow, talking about being prepared. Table of contents. Wow. There it is. Nature. Come on, open up. Anyways, so I'm going to read this. So what I do is I refer to the Grimoire for the. This is actually the companion for the Apprentice Wizard, and it has a good section on some nature things and it kind of fits this time. Like there's a section on Gaia, right? So kind of it's a big Gaia, Mother Earth, and all of that for nature. But here's some basic practices and I wanted to kind of bring these up because when thinking about nature, right, as witches and wizards, hello, JCMN. I'm going to call you JC. Oh no, it's Naomi. Naomi, hello, Naomi, welcome. So I wanted to kind of read. I noticed a few of these as I was thumbing through it, and some of them really kind of struck, a chord with me as being, into nature, naturalist, and even in the environment. It kind of some of these things really stood out to me. So it's some basic practices for a naturalist, if you would. Practice envisioning the earth as a luminous living being, capable in her own way of feeling satisfaction, joy, and pain. And this says Gaia. The more you do this, the less likely it will be that you will ever act in ways to hurt her. And the more attention you pay to her needs, instructions, blessings, and lessons. That's a big. I kind of look at Mother Earth in that light. It's like I'm. I envision, because to me the Earth, it's like a living being. It's an ecosystem. Think of it like this, and at the expense of me sounding kind of a little bit wacky in the head. We are organisms, right? And within us, we have organs and we have cells and we have things going on. Well, the earth is the same way. The earth is this living organisms, and there's trees growing and then there's us living and animals and all this stuff, and it's all part of this being, if you would. And when we do something harmful, to the earth, it's almost like when we, eat something that doesn't agree with us, or food poisoning or something like that, we feel it. And I just believe that the earth, Mother Earth, also tends to kind of feel that thing. So that one kind of really struck a chord with me as a naturalist. Here's another bullet point. Try drawing her the way she appears to you. Don't worry about how perfect it is. It should be more visionary than realistic. Me having a huge logic center also, I envision the earth as like a globe. But within that, right, there's a 3D element to it, right? I believe in, have you ever had one of those bubble things, where you blow the bubbles and they all kind of float around? And if you ever blown a bubble, and you look at it, as you can as it's moving, you see things swirling around, and and that's how I envision the earth, right, from up high. If we were to view it, obviously, speed and perception come into play, but you think about it, the clouds move and we move around, and it's just a living being. It's kind of how I envision it. It's like one of those bubbles. Let's see what this next one is. Now envision your physical being as a bodily extension of Gaia. Gaia's, Mother Earth, as one of her organs of sensation and perception. That guy was driving fast. Again, it's like I was saying. It's like, I am a organ to Mother Earth. What I do day to day, in some way, should benefit, Gaia. It should benefit the Earth, if you would. Does that make sense? Does any of this make sense? Draw yourself as part of Gaia, and then do another drawing of yourself with the spirit of Gaia inside you. I'm working on that one. I just don't know what that, I'm not so sure. I think I know what he means here. He doesn't have pictures with this one. But I do, again, envision myself as part of this organism called Earth. And let's divert from him, and it goes back to, the making of tools and stuff like that. I believe in a recyclative approach to this whole thing. So this stick, of course, Lucian and I, we were taking one of our walks, and it just happened to be just laying on the ground. I broke off a tree for some reason, and I picked it up, and it seemed pretty nice, and so I brought it home. It's something that the tree, which is another organism of Earth, of Gaia, was done with and set to the side. And there's the whole natural, it would decompose and whatever. But I came across it, and maybe that's the design of the whole thing. And now it's going to come, and as an object, it'll serve me as part of the whole organism. But this will be my magical tool. It's kind of why I prefer to take that recyclative approach. And you could go to the store and buy one, and I'm not saying that that's wrong. I have wands that I've purchased, as more of a collectible thing, but I do like to also do that recyclative thing. So here's an interesting one. Honor, but don't worship Gaia. You are born with the ability to represent the worst of what Gaia does, and with the capacity to be the best of what she puts forth. That's an interesting statement. I'm going to read that again. Honor, but don't worship Gaia. You are born with the ability to represent the worst of what Gaia does, and with the capacity to do the best of what she puts forth. Good morning, Wisteria. How are you? So what does that mean? I understand these things probably can mean, it's kind of like the Bible. You read it and a person can get 50 people will get 50 different meanings from this. But I think what that means is, to me, to be one with something. It's very difficult to worship something and be one with something, if this is making sense. I try to envision myself as one with the earth. Like I said, I'm part of this organism. I'm part of Gaia. So I honor her. I honor Gaia. I honor the earth as I am part of it. It's just like an athlete will honor their body, right, by taking care of themselves. I honor the earth that I'm part of. We are reading from, this book. Let me see if I can bring out the cover. I don't want to lose my place. Let's put a bookmark there. If I can show you what it looks like. And not now. I'm going to try. This is not going to work very well, I can tell you, because it's in Kindle. But this top right corner, this is the Kindle version. They do have hard copy. Again, it's part of some of my my library of, you can see there's like tons of books in here. I speak a lot about the Grimoire for the Apprentice Wizard. This is the companion for the Apprentice Wizard. Oh, good, it brought me back there. It's just another book by Oberon Zell, Oberon Zell, something or other. It kind of goes, side by, hand in hand with the Grimoire. He's really got some interesting stuff in here. Let's see, there's a few more. And actually, then let me see. There's some other things you can do during this time. This is the time. Obviously, I'm not doing it now because everything's packed up. Which we're living in the state of flux. But once we get settled, especially what I like to do, and maybe let me just read this. Maybe I should read them and then talk about them. I don't know. Build an altar dedicated to the Earth Mother in your most special space. Include powerful found objects that represent each of the clans of Gaia, such as feathers for birds, rocks from the minerals, and container of water to stand for the rivers and the seas. Just different things to represent the elements. I personally don't put that in my sacred space. That I put my Gaia or my earth altar in a special place out in the yard. So I'll do an outside elemental altar. Sometimes now I usually just keep it simple to one. When I get to the new house where we have a much bigger yard, we will set up multiple, maybe an earth altar, an air altar, a water altar, stuff like that. I might do them separate in the same area, but separate. But needless to say, I'm going off on a tangent. But setting up a dedicated Earth Mother or Gaia altar is a great thing to do, especially this time of year, right? It's the beginning of summer where you can actually make use of that outdoor altar. It's just a kind of something to do. So there's a few more of these, but I want to kind of skip forward to, there's a section called Becoming One with Nature. And I think this ties in, and I'm going to read, this part of the book was written by Abby Willowroot. Becoming one with nature is the process let's start over again because the tongue just went, eh. Becoming one with nature is the process of becoming mindful of the many cycles that are all around us and inside of us. It is learning to value small miracles and fleeting moments. It is experiencing the world without the need to capture the experience. Become aware of the natural world as it presents itself in your everyday life. As a habitat, is a habit that once developed will serve you well. Your skills of perception will sharpen in direct proportion to how often you exercise them. Instincts and abilities long forgotten or never used will awaken and become strong and reliable. So let me see. I'm going to come up with an analogy for this. Let's take a flower, right? You can go, walking in the woods, whatever, whatnot, and you can come across a flower, let's say a lilac. You can take a picture of it, capture the moment, smell it, capture the moment, and then take that with you, and you'll always have that picture of that moment captured. You could get it framed, you can put it on your wall. You've captured the moment. But how about instead, walk down the street, you see a lilac bush, and it inspires you to plant a lilac bush in your yard. So now every day you have that there. It becomes part of your life, if you would. And you smell it every day, you look at it every day. And you do this, and you learn to appreciate what's around you. You appreciate all of that around you. I mean, I have a pretty small yard here. But even so, I still sometimes go out and, because there's, on the side, there's quite a bit of trees and stuff overhead. And I go out and I just kind of look around at what is there. Yeah, there's nature there. You can find nature in the city. I'll tell you what, I'll share this experience. There's a few places in downtown Providence, and I have some pictures, and maybe I'll post them in the Facebook group, of a city setting. And in this plaza, they have you got to envision, it's kind of a long plaza type, not a plaza, but think of a long, wide walkway between two of the big buildings. And going along the whole thing, there's these cement square, large, I don't know what you call them. I don't want to say pots, but out of them are cherry blossoms, which are one of my favorite trees, right? I love being there in the spring when the cherry blossoms are all white and they have, they're just sprouted, so you can find nature in the middle of the city. But that's what it is. It's just, I was puttering around in the backyard because, right, we're getting the house ready to go on the market. And I noticed, I forgot what these little yellow flowers are. I think they're lilies or something like that. Just growing along the fence. I didn't plant, and they're beautiful. Right next to the giant poison ivy bush, which we're not going to get into that. There's some parts of, I guess that represents some of the worst that Gaia can do, right? She's like, oh, you don't want to honor me? You don't want to honor me? Honor me? I'm going to send you some poison ivy bushes to grow along your fence. But yeah, so Naomi says, I never thought about an outdoors altar. Would love one someday. Yeah. Oh, they're a great idea, especially depending on your yard, because like I'm already the wheels are spinning about what I'm going to do in the new house. I mean, we're not getting there till September, so this might be a next year thing. But an outdoor altar also adds. It does a lot of things. It's a great use of space. Regardless the size of your house, you're going to have. This house is. I think this house is like 700 square feet. It's Hagman's hut's a pretty small house. The house we're moving into is like 4 times the size. It's really big. It's over 2,000 square feet. But still, you've got finite space. And I hope Lucian's watching and paying attention because I'm going to teach him this. He likes to have altars everywhere. He's got them even here. We're supposed to be tidying it up, and he's got an altar there. There's an altar right here. But the thing is, right? It maximizes space. It gives you another place to put an altar to honor, something else, because we have altars that honor all these different things. And bear with the noise. The garbage guy is coming to pick up the recycling, and he has to back down the street, so he makes a racket. So it serves that, right? But another positive aspect of it is during the summer and spring, it gets you out of the house and you start appreciating your yard more. He's got an alter ego. Yes, he does. He's gonna watch this and he's gonna give me hell. No, but you can appreciate your backyard more, and you appreciate. Especially an altar dedicated to an element when you're in that element, kind of. Does that make sense? Meaning, you set up, let's say, an earth altar. Outside, I would probably, and I know where my earth altar already is going. There's a section in the new, in the yard at the new house where there's a grove of trees. It's next to a shed. And it's just very kind of covered. And that's such a great setting for an earth altar because you're in the shade and you're within, not a mini forest, but you know what I'm saying? You're in a nice shaded area and there's a little bit of dirt there. And it just feels like you're in earth as you sit there at the earth altar, doing that. You could do a fire altar. I would put that maybe on stone somewhere where you get the maximum amount of sunlight. Because now if I'm going to work with a fire element altar, I want to do it in the sunlight, feeling the heat from the sun. For a water altar, you could build a little, get one of those little fountains even, and just have the water flowing. A little, I'd like to look up, and this is in my plans, if they have like a Gaia statue that, flows water, water fountain, if you would, because I definitely, it just adds to it. Naomi says, I'm a beginner, so learning to appropriately make an altar and etc. is, I can put this up here. Why why do I forget to do this? I'm a beginner, so learning to appropriately make an altar and etc. is one I try to respectfully approach. I took that there. Yeah, let me. So the biggest advice I can give you is you've got to do you. That's the first thing. When you're going to do, and actually this book, and I may do a live on building altars because there is a whole section on building your first altar in the Grimoire for the Apprentice Wizard. And there are some guidelines. It's going to depend on your particular altar that you're building. Like I said, like if you're doing an earth altar, you're going to put earthy things on there. There'll be something of stick, something of maybe some crystals, maybe some just rocks. A water altar is going to have some sort of water, maybe some shells. You want your objects on your altar to reflect the intent of it. And for your general altar, my general altar, the very first altar where I do a lot of my magical work, which is packed away, I will have multiple representations of things. On my working altar, I have an hourglass with sand in it. That represents earth and time. I have a small shot glass of salt. That represents a little bit of the sea, right? Because I don't like, with the cats, I don't like to keep a cup. I used to do a cup of sea or pond water. I might do that in a bottle. But you just different things. I put a shell that represents the sea. I'll put a feather, represents air. Candles represent fire. So there's some core elements that you can put on your altar depending on the function of it. Every altar I have will have some sort of candle on it. So even my outdoor altars, but be very careful. You don't want to burn your neighborhood down. But I will put some candles, and you just light them when you're going to use them. A good thing is, if you're worried about the weathering of candles, is you can put them in a plastic baggie and kind of tuck them off to the side and pull them out when you're gonna use them. But there's no right or wrong way of building an altar. You just gotta kind of do you. And another thing is, you start simple. People sometimes believe they have to have this big, massive altar that looks like something out of a Hollywood movie. You don't need that. Start with a couple of items, and it'll evolve into what it needs to be. So so just kind of do you, what you feel, and that and it'll work for you. Wisteria says, my outdoor altar helps ground me. I use it to connect with the earth and to meditate. Absolutely. So that's the purpose of it, right? When you're outdoors, you are the best grounded because you're right on the ground. It's great for meditation too, because you're outside and you've got the sounds, and it's just a great the environment is so great for that, for free magical work. I'm going to do that. Like I said, I'm doing this live. I'm trying to kind of get into it. It's a little tricky, kind of getting these lives done with the state that we're in. But I'll tell you, once we get to the regular house, we're going to have the new house. We're going to have the spaces, and it's going to work. But I am going to try to do some. I might do let me see, what's next Saturday. See, some of these Saturdays we have so much going on with the house. I'm going to try to do a live on altars. I've been wanting to do them because there's just so much, and building the altar is a very intimidating. wait for the garbage truck to go by. But anyways, lost my train of thought. Yeah, so building an altar is very intimidating, and it doesn't need to be. It doesn't really need to be. So I might do a beginner altar video. Yeah. So we got off on that tangent. So back to what to becoming one with nature. Another exports, talk about environment. We're going to skip ahead a little bit. The voice of Mother Earth is speaking to us, to all of us, sometimes on the breeze, sometimes in meditation or ritual, sometimes in laughter. We hear her message. They want to. Okay, he's leaving. Oh my God! So let me read this again. The voice of only me could have this happen. The voice of Mother Earth is speaking to all of us, sometimes in the breeze. So that leads to a couple of things, and I'm going to be mindful not to go off on too many tangents. But the sounds are very important in two things. Meditation. The best way to meditate is in nature, in a quiet place where you just hear the sounds of the breeze, the sounds of the trees rustling. Because in those sounds, that's the sounds of Mother Earth communicating. And as you meditate in that, you'll start hearing and feeling and sensing her message. That makes sense. Green witches, wizards, and tribal healers are working around the world to heal the environment and rekindle awareness of the sacred spirits of nature. Yeah, there's a lot, and they name some. Let me see. Hold on. Cultural icons like Sting, Bono, and Al Gore have worked tirelessly to share the message of our interconnectedness, and the fragility of the environment. Yeah, I don't want to kind of go off on the tangent of in the environment, because I could. Because I believe that we're in an environmental crisis, and we really, 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 really should try to be moved to do our part to take care of our the environment. But that is that's a whole other life. But to people like us, witches and wizards, especially green witches and wizards, it is important. Our nature is important to us. As a wizard, you are a powerful shaper of the future. The deeper your understanding of nature and the natural laws of the universe, the stronger your ability to shape the future will be. We're approaching a time when the skills of wise wizards will be crucial to restoring the balance in our world. Learning nature's lessons, both simple and complex, will make you ready. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, with Stereo Per? Yeah, exactly. We only have one Earth. We mess this up, and you can't get another one. It's not like you can go to Home Depot and buy another Earth. Call up technical support. Hey, My Earth is broken. Can you send me a replacement? No, it's the only Earth we have. Naomi says, listening to her, I find my peace. This topic tonight, but thank you so much. But that kind of is my point. Is another aspect of this is finding our peace. There's a lot of stuff that I'd like to do on self-healing, because it's been a pretty big topic in my life, or a thing with me, is self-awareness and self-healing. COVID brought out some things in me that I needed to deal with on a mental level, and finding peace is a big part of that. It's a big part of that. It's getting into harmony with Mother Earth, with yourself, and finding that peace, finding that vibration, and that's only gonna it's only gonna make things better. So how long have we been on? We've been on for 41 minutes. We'll go a little bit longer. Oh yeah, October says it definitely brought out things in me too. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, October, we have our conversations because she's local here and we're good friends. But yes, yeah, we've had a very similar journey, I think. Yeah. So I'm gonna give you guys some homework. So this last section, it's called the Amateur Naturalist. The Amateur Naturalist. And this part's written by Moonwriter. Not sure who these people are. I know that they're, anyways. What is a naturalist? A naturalist is someone who studies and interacts with the natural world around them. Through observation and interaction, the naturalist begins to understand the web of life and sees how everything is tied together. In the words of our Gray School motto, I can't even pronounce that. Let's do the English version. Everything is alive. Everything is interconnected. Yeah, I believe that. Everything is alive and everything is interconnected. So here's what you need. You can read about nature, watch shows about it on TV, and even visit it at the local zoo. But nothing compares to actually going out into the natural world and learning to watch what takes place around you. In order to complete the activities, you'll need the following thing. I'm going to simplify this a bit. Basically, what they have you doing is creating a nature journal. It could be any book, it could be a notebook, whatever you want on it. And what you want to do, and you might even look on Amazon. They might even sell them. But what you want to do is, here's the thing: make it a small book, because this is what I am going to do. Now, I've been living for this time of year. I'm going to get Lucian out of this house, and we're going to go on some hikes. And while you're hiking, when I say hikes, I mean in the woods. We have hiking trails. Second piece of homework: download the app called All Trails. It's based on GPS, and it will find great hiking trails wherever you are. It's what I use. And what I'm going to do is, while I'm going on these hikes, you kind of want to take a moment. You go on a hike, if you go on a long hike, we tend to go on 1-2 mile hikes. So there'll be a point of time where you might want to take a rest. Take a rest, think a moment, jot down some of the things you're experiencing from your environment. It's almost like a dream journal, except it's a hiker journal or a naturalist journal. What you hear, wind rustling in the trees, could be birds chirping, could be frogs, could be crickets, could be cicadas, just write down some of the things you're experiencing. Smells, it smells damp and musty. It smells very, forestry, very like foliage. It could smell like pine, depending on where you are. Just take notes of that. Take notes of things if you come across a little river or whatnot, and just kind of journal. Be careful. Don't make the journal too much. You don't want it to take away from the hiking experience. You want to just, take a 5-minute rest, maybe, eat some trail mix, have a drink, 1 page, write a couple of things, put it in your pocket, and move on. It's a great thing to go back and look through, and you can actually see how you're connecting. It does 2 things. It forces you to pay attention to your environment, but also lets you go back and see and how you actually have paid attention, and you start connecting that, how you've progressed and connected with nature along the way. Naomi says, don't be long-winded. That's my problem. I go off in tangents. You're going to hear it. But yeah, you just want to make it quick and simple. Make it part of the experience, not make it a chore during the experience. So that's that. Let me see what else. Here's a couple of things. Being a naturalist requires hold on, I gotta wet this thing because it's I'm not used to talking this much. Being a naturalist requires certain ethical rules and regulations. Never collect a plant or flower unless you're collecting it from an abundant site. But yeah, another part of being a naturalist is you can kind of collect different things from the environment. But, don't pick the last lily on the path. Let it, make it an abundant site. So that way, when you collect it, you're not killing off. You know what I'm saying? Always collect the smallest possible specimen. All right, this is talking. Oh, yeah, I skipped ahead. Let's go through this and then we'll wrap up. A good thing, another good thing to do, which is kind of fun, is collecting samples from these hikes, whether it be a leaf, a flower, rocks, sticks. Like I say, I pick things up along the way. That'll serve a purpose. So don't be afraid to collect and bring stuff home from, just don't collect poison ivy leaves. But let's go through these. Always collect the smallest possible specimen. That's number 2. 3, there are times when photography should be used in place of collecting. You should never collect endangered species, disturb any animal home, or remove any remnant of American Indian culture. Yes. Along our trails, there's a lot of actually ruins, if you would, from either colonial days or, from old New England. You never want to disturb that. Follow the leave no trace method of collecting. When you leave an area, there should be no evidence of your presence. As a wizard, you should always respect the integrity and sanctity of the natural world. When entering a place or removing a specimen, you should first get some sense of whether it is acceptable to the ecosystem you are working in. After finishing your work, give thanks to the energies of the place. You may wish to offer a blessing or carry out a simple ritual. I always do like a simple ritual when I'm collecting something. I have another wand, a staff rather, that I made, and it's packed. But I actually cut a branch off of a large tree. Well, part of the ritual was I asked the tree to give me that for a purpose, and I thanked the tree by offering, I offered water, to the base, and I as part of a ritual. And this only just has to be something from the heart. There's no science to it. Naomi says, I love this naturalist approach. I find some that touch on it, but not in the way you're doing. I almost always take samples of what I think may be needed in the craft, or just beauty. Yeah, it's just, and it's all right to do that. It's just being respectful. A lot of people, a lot of naturalists approach, they just do it not in the best way, and they'll just take what they want without any sort of reference to nature itself. And that, hey, I'm all to each of their own, but that for me is just not the proper way to do it. You'll want to, we're all on this living ecosystem together. We want to, we want to respect it, and we want to coexist in a happy, harmonious way. We give, we take. It becomes a give and take because nature is giving to us all the time. Like now that the garbage truck is gone, right? Let's be quiet for a minute. So I don't know if you can hear that, but even as I'm sitting here, I hear birds chirping. I hear the trees rustling in the wind. Even here in my home, that to me is nature giving back to us. That's it. Nature is always giving back to us. The sun is shining, and that how. Think about it. When you go outside, just think of how you feel when you're outside at a park or, and that's nature giving back to us. So you can't help but to really want to love and respect something with that much beauty. Let's see. The next section talks about elements. We can, if you want, do you want to talk a little bit about earth, air, fire, and water? I can go a little bit longer because it's been 53 minutes. What do you guys think? You guys, is this interesting? Should we press on for a little bit? Yeah. I told Olive and Jay about Dave's message about NJ in the response. My package arrived quickly. Not sure what that means. Essence. Oh, yeah. We were talking about New Jersey. Yeah. New Jersey's an interesting place. I'm going to leave it at that. I don't know. I spent some time in Trenton, and it just was not fun. Anyways, let's talk a little bit about some elements, and then we'll wrap it up after there. Earth. Using a hiking staff stave will help you keep your balance on hikes and can be a very useful tool as well. To make a stave, choose a long stick that has about 2 inches in diameter and at least as tall as your shoulder. Use a pocket knife. Just a oh, wait a minute. Go ahead and outdoors, holding on to the shoulder. These are different things. Okay, these are different things that pertain to that element. So a good, and I did this. A good earth thing is making a staff. They call it staves, but I don't know about it's a staff. Air. Before heading into the outdoors or holding an outdoor ritual, you may want to consider the weather. Keeping an eye on the heavens. Oh, these are just some tips. Oh, I get it. I'm sorry, I misread this. Nowhere near Trenton, thanks to heavens. I saw that. So these are some. Okay, sorry. I kind of thought this was something else. It's some safety type things before going on a hike. I get this. All right, let's regroup. So, earth. Using a hiking staff will help you keep your balance on hikes and can be very useful, very useful clearing brush stuff out of the way. You can make your own staff like I did. You get find a long stick, probably about shoulder height, and about 2 inches. And you want a good thickness to it, about 2 inches in diameter. And you can. They say use a pocket knife to peel the bark. Here's the thing: you can do what you want when making a staff. You might want to leave the bark on it. You might like the way it looks. Make patterns in the bark. One of mine, I cleared all the bark away, except for the top. Made a little handle out of the bark. And then you shellac it and stuff like that. So air, before heading out into the outdoors or holding an outdoor ritual, you may want to consider the weather. Keeping one eye on the heavens will help you avoid weather surprises and keep you safe and comfortable. Learn to read the sky and cloud patterns through observation and notes in your journal. There's other stuff you put in your journal. Remember we're talking about different things? When you start getting in tune to nature, you can start looking and sensing and knowing when the weather is going to be good or bad. I think we all know that. If you walk out the front door and it's gray, that's okay, Wisteria. We'll be wrapping up soon anyways. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I'm going to start doing these SaturDaves. But yeah, it's all part of that coming in tune with nature. I wasn't always that in tune. I can tell a story how this is a rule. There's a rule in here when it comes to it. I might have skipped over it. Where it says, you never really want to hike alone. I do. I hike alone. And I'll tell you, learning to read the sky. I went on a hike once. It was a 2-mile hike on a path that I've been on before, so I'm familiar with it. And I use the All Trails app. It's got GPS, and you can map. It's very tough to get lost. And here, at least in Rhode Island, the hiking trails are very well marked. But anyways, I did. I packed up my little backpack, and I says, I'm going to go on a hike. It was cloudy, but it was warm, and it really did not feel like rain. So I got all the way in. It was like a 2-mile up and back. And right when I was turning around to come back, it starts raining, pouring. Not fun. I mean, well, not fun. Here's the thing, though. I learned on this not so fun return path back. It starts raining, you're getting wet, and you start getting cranky. But I quickly got to the point where I said to myself, oh, Essence is reading my mind. I said to myself, all right, I'm already wet, and I'm not uncomfortable because it was warm. It was really warm. I mean, it was like 88 degrees warm. And I realized the rain was refreshing. Like, who cares if you're wet? I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah, October says, I love summer rain. So I kind of add this little blurb to, because we should do a whole other, I could do a whole other live on hiking in some of the materials you should bring. Quick list. I travel with a backpack. I'll have bug spray. I'll have sunscreen. I'll always have plenty to drink, and I always pack plenty of snacks. Amongst other things, I'll put some camera equipment in there, and something else that I learned at Disney World. Have any of you guys ever been to Disney World? So, going to Disney World, I've been about 5 or 6 times. And in Florida, it seems to rain at 4:30 every day. In Florida, at Disney, when it rains, the world does not stop. Meaning, when it starts raining and you're in Disney World, you just keep going to the next ride. They sell ponchos in all the shops. And that's what I've learned. It's like you get out of the mindset where it's like, oh no, it's raining, I must go hide. No. Put a poncho in your bag. If it starts raining, you throw that on. Rain can be very enjoyable. Now, if it's a cold rain, not so much. But, I actually, even though I didn't have a poncho and I was walking in the rain, I actually was enjoying it once I got myself to relax and just, hey, look, we're on a hike. It's just a little wet. It's liquid sunshine. But yeah, keep an eye on the weather and be, like Essence says. Also, Smurfly have been to Disney World and can't wait to go back. Our first day there, it rained. Pull out the poncho and keep on. But that's what it is. You pull out the poncho and you just keep on moving. Think of your hikes the same way. Lucian and I will go on rainy walks. We did once. We put our ponchos on and went out, walked in the rain. You get a good poncho, it's going to keep you dry. So make sure you have one of those in your hiking kit. The fire element, it just says, if you use any sort of flame, candles, alcohol burners, campfires in the outdoors, make sure to work on fireproof surfaces. Paper should never be anywhere near flames. Also make sure there is nothing hanging near the flames. I think this is more of a camping thing. Don't wear robes, stoles, or anything with loose sleeves that could brush the flames and catch fire. If you're a young apprentice, make sure an adult is nearby. Campfires should be built in established fire rings, barbecue pits. Make sure the surroundings area is clear of flammable materials and overhanging branches. I do not, when I'm going on my hike, fire is not, we don't build fires on the hike. I'll tell you what. You all should expect this from the Wiz. Nothing to me is more enjoyable than on a well-established hiking trail that you know really well. I have 2 that I'll do this on, and I'll do with other folks. I won't do this alone. I've done it alone. I take this with me. This is my one hitter. Nothing. So you all know I'm a big cannabis user, and I'm a big cannabis activist. Big cannabis activist. I'm like Ruth Whitefeather Feldman of the Wizard YouTube world. But seriously, nothing gets me more in tune with nature, with my surroundings, with just being, than actually going on what I call a high hike. And it's my fire element essence. That's it. It's my fire element. But serious, I do. I will take my one hitter and I will get I'll smoke a little bit while I'm hiking. Obviously, as the caveat, keep legality in mind. I have I'm part of the Rhode Island medical marijuana program because I'm on medical marijuana. So I smoke legally or in a legal state. A lot of legal states, though, you're not supposed to smoke in public. Even technically in Rhode Island, we really shouldn't be walking down the street smoking. And I don't. I usually smoke right here in the house. But on a hike in my own group of people, it's fine. Pass the peace pipe, let me tell you. They call it a peace pipe for a reason. But yeah. And I bring that up because I'll always use a lighter. Matches, the problem is, the point I'm getting to, if you're going to smoke or anything, and this goes for cigarettes as well, in the woods, you're going to just be careful. Don't light a match and just throw it to the ground. I'll make sure I'll blow it out, a little spit, pinch the tip, whatever. Because these are the things that can cause forest fires. If you smoke blunts or cigarettes or whatever, you get to the end. This is how forest fires are formed, and you flick it away. You can't do that. I use the one hitter because there's no throwaway. I don't know if you guys have ever seen these, but it's this thing, and there's a tiny little compartment in the front, and on the other side, I'll demonstrate. On the other side, it's just a hole. You put your little thing in there, you give it a twirl, and it just kind of grabs. And we're going way off on a tangent. It just grabs you a little bit of stuff, and it's enough for 1 or 2 hits. And as you smoke, it goes away to the point where sorry, it's a little too early for me to be smoking. Point is, it burns away till the point where it's no longer burns, and it's very important because forest fires. If you look with and we can tie this back to the environmental crisis, but you look at the forest fires that happened, in the past, in 2020 in the West. I mean, it's a huge, huge problem. And I'm going to tell you, I will bet that 9 out of 10 of those forest fires were set by someone with a cigarette, finishing it off and doing the flick. And it just catches, makes a little fire, and that's enough. When it's really dry conditions, that's just going to go up, and all of a sudden, you have millions of acres burning. So anyways, that's why I brought that little tangent up. Let's see. I'm going to look at a couple other things. Yeah, edibles are becoming my best friend. Oh man, I make some of the killer edibles. Let me tell you. I don't have my grinder, but I save all my keef and I make keef butter. And then I take that and I put it into my Truvia cookie recipes. And let me tell you, last Christmas, the whiz was sailing. All right. But anyways, we've been here a little over an hour and 9 minutes. I think we'll wrap this up here. Drilling and collecting. We're going to talk a little bit more about this. I might talk a little bit at the next SaturDave. I don't know if I'm going to, I got to think. I'll have to find out with Lucian what's going on next Saturday. There's so much going on with the house. But, yeah, we'll continue talking a little bit about nature on the next SaturDave. If you're not a member of the Cross Paths Facebook group, don't forget to just pop in and check it out. It's Cross Paths. Let's put some thingies up. Oh, man. Yeah. So the Facebook group, Cross Paths, check it out. I'll definitely post some of the updates on there. Yeah. Oh, and don't forget, Happy Pride. June is Pride Month. Forgot to mention that. But absolutely. Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm an idiot. It's the Iron Cauldron Society Facebook group. That's what it's called. It used to be Cross Paths. Then Lucian and I, we talked about it, and he came up with Iron Cauldron Society, and we came up with something else. And then I was like, I think he came up with like Iron Cauldron Coven. And I was like, well, how about Iron Cauldron Society? And it just clicked. But yeah, check out that Facebook group. I will be posting more stuff in there. See, you guys got me. Yep, I caught myself, but let me tell you, you guys are the best. You guys are the best. Yeah, it's Iron Cauldron Society. I got to make a new banner for it. See, we've been kind of slacking. Bad. But yeah, Happy Pride, everyone. Get out there, enjoy nature, do it safely. If you're vaccinated, that's great. You're safe. If you're not vaccinated, it's outside. The CDC has admitted that there was actually very little to no evidence that COVID spread outside, which I'm glad they said that. But, if you're not vaccinated, be mindful of that. I'm not going to say go on a hike wearing a mask, because that's just a miserable experience. But just keep away. Keep with your own group. Though if you're not vaccinated, why? Just kidding. And just do it safely. Don't hike anywhere. Don't go off path. You end up near a cliff, or I don't want to hear of any needed to be rescued stories because I inspired someone to go hiking. Let's not. I have enough to deal with. We love you guys. So yeah, thanks for joining. Have a great. Here's another piece of homework. Join the. Don't be one of those people. No, I try not to be one of those people. Here's another bit of homework. In your nature, so I want you to join the Iron Cauldron Society Facebook group, and let's post some of our nature things up there. It could be pictures of flowers, pictures of plants, pictures of animals. I want to see everyone's nature. I'm gonna make a topic up there. Maybe I'll make a post that says, "Show me your nature." So look for that. Look for a post on the Iron Cauldron Society. It's going to be called "Show Me Your Nature." I want to see your nature pics, everyone. And who knows? Maybe I'll find a way to kind of share some of them with you guys on the next SaturDave. No, that means you got to go back out. It means you got to take another walk. It's only Saturday morning. You've got the rest of Saturday. You've got Sunday. Just kidding. But definitely, I'm gonna make a topic. I'm gonna make a post that says "Show me your nature," and I want to see your guys' nature. All right, guys. I love you all. Thanks for joining. Hold on. I gotta find the video. Okay, found it. Have a great day, everyone. Oh, we have one called SaturDaves. Let's see what that says.